Hey guys, it's Danny. Good morning, hope you're all doing well. It is early morning here. Voice is not yet woken up. I got my coffee, but that can only do so much. Alright, what we're gonna do today is take care of the poor Catasetum orchids. They are just waking up from their slumber, from their dormancy. Yeah, they look a little bit weird, but trust me, it's normal for them. Each winter, they lose all of their leaves. All you will have left are these bare canes, with some dead or alive roots, mostly dead, and as you can see, there is new growth just starting to grow. It is the perfect time to repot them, which I've already did with one of them, but I'm just gonna take you along on a Catasetum bonanza day today, and I'm gonna repot all of them. I'm gonna show you where I have decided to keep them this year, because sadly these guys, ever since we came here, they've had it rough. I have been pretty bad with them. I tried out a lot of stuff, tried growing them outside until I realized, hey, these are pest magnets. They're not supposed to live in the same space where I live because it's not safe. So I'm gonna enclose them in a glass tower, and hopefully I will not have so many issues with pests. Now the good thing is they do lose their leaves every year, so I don't have to stare at the damage. But the more damage they have on the new leaves as they're growing throughout the year, the less vigorous they will grow. As you can see, they're also set back. This is not necessarily due to pests, but last year tried to keep them outside during dormancy, during winter, and somehow rain and moisture got to them, and I had a lot of rotten pseudobulbs. I did make a video as well, check it down below in the description, just so you have a reference point of how they used to be and what is happening now. Practically, this is an update and continuation of the story, if you will. So with that said, without further ado, hope you'll enjoy hanging out with me today. If you do, don't forget to give this video a like, leave me a comment, a share would be great, and hey, why not subscribe? I post 3 times a week. Alrighty, so as you can see, I already repotted one of these guys. I'm going for self-watering pots. I have a few types of self-watering pots. This is one of them. I have quite a few orchids in these types. Look how pretty she is. And I'm just trying out some types of self-watering pots. Look at that root system. So I have a few of these left, but also some of these Catasetums are quite tiny. I don't want them to take a lot of space in the glass tower. So I also have these self-watering pots, which don't have a gauge or a way to tell you if there's any water in the reservoir, but I know Catasetums. I know when water is gone, which happens pretty much every day. They're very thirsty orchids. So self-watering works for me. Might not be the best solution for you, especially if you live in a cooler or more humid environment. It doesn't matter how you grow these guys. It actually doesn't matter how you grow any orchid for that matter. Whatever works out for your environment works out. All you need to do is keep in mind air, moisture, and a medium which is not detrimental for the roots chemically and physically wise. Other than that, sky's the limit. So this was the Fred Clarkiera After Dark Black Orchid. I am done with her. And next up, oh boy, this is a crowd favorite. This is the Cygnodus Wine Delight. He's alive, oh my goodness. So last year, the Catasetum Wine Delight, which is my oldest Catasetum, he has been blooming reliably for me for a number of years until we moved here and everything kind of fell apart. This guy was one of the worst affected orchids last year. And what you see here is actually a bulb that started to grow somewhere on top of the previous bulb. So it wasn't a new growth like you see here. It was, if you will, a cakey, but not really. Catasetums can produce new growth anywhere around these rings on their canes. I don't believe it is considered a cakey, but they can do that. So normally they would put out growth at the base, but it's not uncommon for them to produce a new cane somewhere on top or in the middle of the cane. So yeah, this guy, if you didn't watch that video, the previous cane was seated horizontally like this in the pot, just to make the newer cane more comfortable. He's alive, we did it, yay! Let's try to be better, right? So what I'm gonna do is completely remove the older leaves. They are all completely dead. With Catasetums, you will have this. Most of the roots will not actually pass 1 or 2 years. It's normal, don't freak out about it. Some people cut away all of the previous year's roots, no matter if they're alive or dead. I like to leave whatever is alive on. It's not much. In this case, I don't think I have much alive, but it's okay. So One by one, let's just remove all of these roots. And be careful not to touch the newer roots. And look at that, he's a tiny little guy, so I guess you can see how something like this, slightly excessive, takes up too much space. I need something tinier. And these pots are just some T4U, I think that's the brand, T4U pots from Amazon. I will link you to them in my Amazon affiliate store down below if you're interested. I do tend to change the wick on these pots because they come with something which is not super wicking, and also I do believe it has some natural fibers in it and it will just start to rot really, really fast. I like to use old rags of microfiber. P.S. I actually tried to wash some of these in the washing machine. You know how I did it? You know there are those meshes for your, I guess, delicates? Yeah, just put them in there, put them in the washing machine, and they're gonna wash just fine. You can reuse them with other orchids. If you have a lot of them, if you have one or two, obviously, you can wash them with a little soap. But anyway, I was just saying, it works out, but don't put them like this in the washing machine because you're gonna lose them. I don't know where they're gonna go, but you're gonna lose them. Put them in that mesh that you use for delicates. All right, so I will be doing my typical mixture of bark and sphagnum moss, but I will err on the side of sphagnum moss. As I was saying, during their growing season, these orchids, as tiny as you see them, oh, they can drink a lot of water. The bigger ones can actually overwhelm you with how much water they need. Imagine they need to grow an entire growth and mature it within 6 months, 5 months. You can imagine the type of resources they need. So I will use sphagnum moss. I'm going to start with sphagnum moss at the bottom, and I will layer bark here and there, but I will insist on the sphagnum moss. So let's go ahead and do that. Alrighty, so this guy is done. I'm gonna go give him a good run through with water just to make the medium fall into place a little bit better. I'm not going to keep this like super moist for a while because the roots are still pretty tiny. There's no need for that. But I did find that with a little bit of moisture in the medium, the new roots just grow faster and better. Generally speaking, the more moisture and air at the same time that the medium has, the faster those root tips grow. You will see the length of the actual tip being larger. They will just continue growth much, much better. So I always try to maintain the medium adequately moist whenever I have new roots because I find it does help them grow faster, even with catasetums. Okay, here's another very, very tiny one. The other two are a little bit bigger. I might pot them in the other self-watering pot. This is Cycnotus Jumbo Puff, the yellow one. And because it was sitting like this in this container where it spent its dormancy, the new growth is growing a little wonky, but it's okay, it will correct itself. I can pot this guy like this, and the new growth within a few days, it's gonna start growing upwards. So that is great. Let's sanitize this real fast. Even though if the roots are dead, there's no need. But you never know, maybe something will be still a little bit green. So same story, I will cut away all of these dead roots. Yeah, no, there was nothing alive. And you can see this one is just growing its roots. At this stage, they do not absorb any water. They need to grow just a little bit more. I do think I have a video, it's an older video, in which I tell you how to visually see when the roots are starting to drink water. I will put it down below in the description. They do change color when they're starting to absorb, but as you noticed, most orchids, if not all orchids, when they first grow their new roots, they don't absorb water just yet. They need to grow a little bit more, and you'll see them starting with the older parts being developed enough to absorb water. Well, good morning to you too. Are you awake? She just woke up. All right, so the Jumbo Puff is done. Again, I'm gonna run a little bit of water through the pot, and let me show you the enclosure that I got for them. Okay, so this is a detolf shelf from IKEA. Many people use this to display their figurines. Mainly, I do believe that's how it started, but then people started to display plants in it as well, because guess what? Glass is cute. Speaking about glass, let me tell you a little secret. I have always dreamed of having a house with super big windows and maybe an observatory on top, just to watch the sky without being bothered by rain, bugs, cold temperatures, and things of the sorts. So whenever I play Minecraft, which is very rarely, I don't have time. It's been a year, I guess, since I logged in. I always make a glass roof because I really like to look at the sky, at the land, see the mobs, all of those things. But in reality, I like glass. Is that weird? I don't know. So having glass enclosures for my plants taps into this love of mine of, I don't know, glass rooms. Is that a thing? I don't know. But I really hope that with this enclosure, not only will my Catasetums have good light, and don't worry, I will make a video on how I put together all of this. But also, I do hope they will be much safer from pests because I've had such a hard time. And by the way, these are newer Catasetums that I just purchased. I really like Catasetums. I just didn't purchase them in a long time because of this issue. So I think I solved it this year. We'll see how big they grow. We'll see if they still fit in here. I might have one Catasetum per shelf or two, which is fine by me. This guy in the back is my new Millennium Magic. I already repotted him. Look how big he grew. So I'm hopeful that this enclosure will keep them safe, will make them grow nicely because I really like them. I was just kind of in a lack of ideas, let's say, situation. But yeah, I think they're gonna do well for now. So I'm gonna go ahead and repot the other two Catasetums. I will keep them here this year, and of course, I will keep you up to date to see how it goes. It has become a yearly thing with Catasetums to see how they're doing and how they failed this year. Oh, what did I do to my Catasetums this year? Well, hopefully that will stop. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed this video and I hope you have a great day. Subscribe to my channel for more orchid videos, tutorials, experiments, updates, and other fun orchid subjects. If you wish to support the channel, do consider becoming a member or visit the merch store linked down below in the description. You can also follow me on Instagram and Facebook. It's always nice to stay in touch there as well. And I'll see you all next time. Bye!